Just going? I guess it's going. Is it going, Kiki? What do you think? Is it going, Kiki? Meow. There, Kiki. Yeah. I can't see really what's going on here with this phone. Get a little further away. That might work. Is that gonna work, Kiki? Yeah. There, Kiki. There. I don't know. We'll try it. I can't tell what I'm recording. Let's recline a little more. What do you think of that, Kiki? Let's recline a little more. Oh, she's leaning on her chair remote. I can't recline anymore, Kiki. Let's see if I get here and hear more. That's a little better. At least you can see my ugly pussycat. Meow. Hi, Kiki. Hello, kitty. She's sitting next to me. Edie's over there, and she's on her recliner. And we got these recliners. You push a button and it makes it go up and down. Kiki don't like that though. What do you think, Kiki? I'm gonna make mine go a little further back, all the way back. Okay. Now I'm fully reclined. Hi, Bill. Hi, everybody. I thought I'd make a kind of a shout out reply or response to Bill's thing about Sandy. Sorry to hear that Sandy broke her leg and got hurt. Um, First thing I want to say here, though, is Edie and I are GGs. She's great grandma, I'm great grandpa. The day after my birthday, June 4th, Angie's daughter Abby had a baby girl, Jasmine. So there we are, 72 and old farts, old goats. Huh, Bill? Old goat? And I guess that would make us old 72 goats. And you're old 82 goat instead of old 64 goat. Boy. Anyways, well, I don't know. When did we start on YouTube? Yeah, I wanted to mention here before I get into your situation. I took a pretty nasty fall a few days ago. We were out in our scooters, out and about, Edie and I, and she loves to go out on her scooter. She's got a go-go, and I got a rascal. And so I'm an old rascal, and she's go-go Edie. And she got to wear her go-go boots when she goes on her go-go, and hot pants and a tank top. And I put on some nice clothes for going out in the sun. We've got a little sunburn or suntan here. I don't know if that's showing up, but I got a suntan and Edie got a suntan. We were out and about. Beautiful weather. And, I'm having a little trouble with my rascal. Sometimes it just stalls, but generally it's been pretty reliable. But the funny thing is, we went out and the batteries, the day before, the battery on mine was dead when we went down to Lorenzo's Pizza. And the next day, Edie's battery was dead. And turned out, I don't know why, they were plugged in. Well, I found out why. I took my trusty digital meter and checked the plug was okay, but the socket on Edie's chair, there's a socket up on the arm, or where the triggers are, the handlebars. There's a socket up there. For some reason, it don't work anymore, and there's no juice there. So she also has a socket on the battery pack. You can pull the battery pack off of the chair and charge it separately. And I guess if you had a separate battery pack, you could have one charging while you're using the other, I guess. But anyways, hers charges down there on the battery at least. I checked the fuse, it was okay. Mine, I don't know why it didn't charge. It was plugged in. So for some reason it didn't charge. So we both had dead batteries within a day apart. It was kind of funny. But it got me home, and it got her home. When we were at the Lorenzo's Pizza, they let me plug in outside the place. There's a plug outlet outside. She let me plug in. And I charged it about a half an hour, and it got me home. And Edie's just got her home with a low battery. But by the time she got home, her batteries are down to 17 volts. They're normally 24. That's too low, but she made it. And mine, I think we're similar. I think I was down to about 17 volts as well. But it charged up to about 20, 23, 24 volts in a half an hour, but it didn't hold it very long. By the time I got home, it was pretty well shot again. Half hour is not long enough. But anyway, that was a little bit of an adventure. And yeah, Bill, we have stuff in town where at least we can use our scooters. We got a Dollar General and hardware store and a few other places. Some restaurants like Lorenzo's Pizza. I'm not a pizza person myself. I don't really like pizza at all. I'm kind of trying to be on a diabetic diet as far as, she said I'm pre-diabetic and uh, um, to watch the sweets and stuff. So um, I lost a few pounds, but I gained it back because I was being naughty, cheating. But anyways, when we got home the other day, uh, it was really bright and sunny out. I had my sunglasses on, and I was walking through the back there where Noah's stuff is, and there was like a piece of wood sticking out that I didn't see, and I tripped on it. Man, I took a bam. I mean, I took a bad fall. Kind of like when I remember when I used to roller skate many, many, many years ago, and you'd fall on roller skates and you go bam. And I remember one time I fell on the roller skates and hurt my wrist. Landed funny. That's what happened this time. I hurt my wrist. It didn't break. It seems okay, but it hurt, and I hurt my knee. I don't know how I landed in a way that I don't remember. I just remember all of a sudden I'm laying on the floor. Bam! Took a bad fall, and the first thing I was thinking, I hope I didn't break a bone because I gotta take care of Edie. And if I break a bone, I don't know how I'm going to take care of her. I was scared, but it turned out it was okay. I think I landed on my hip, my knee, and my wrist somehow. All I know is I was kind of laying on my side on the floor. Suddenly it was down. And when I got up, my knee hurt. I said, uh-oh. And my hip and back kind of hurt, and my wrist hurt. Most of it, I think, was taken by my knee and my hand, my wrist. And I weigh a lot, so, I was scared. But I got up, I said a few choice words, and I hobbled. I had to go up like 4 steps to get into the house. And I got in the house, and I don't remember what I was doing. But Edie was waiting outside, and I got to help her get on the lift. The lift don't go down properly all the way to the ground. Oh, there they're coming. They're coming to take me away, haha. Anyways, the lift goes down almost all the way, but not quite. And I had to modify it a little bit. But anyways, the small wheels on the scooter or the wheelchair get kind of caught up in it. And I got to kind of go out there and help her maneuver onto the lift. Now, if it went all the way down like it's supposed to, and if the concrete pad was flat instead of like a little bit of a hill, it'd be no problem. But because it's a little awkward, the wheels get a little jammed up, and I got to make sure she gets on it sometimes herself, but sometimes her wheels get caught depending on how you approach it. You got to be like lined up just right. But anyways, I was aching and pain, and I had to help her. I thought, oh my, I don't remember if Noah was home. I don't think so. I think he was at work. And I don't even know if Gabby was here, to be honest with you. I think he might have been at work. So it was just the two of us. And I just was so thankful I was able to, pain and all, I got out there and got her in the house okay. And I says, Edie, I'm just going to stay home the rest of the day. I was able to go out and put my rascal away. I keep that outside. But hers we keep in the house. And Becca helped us get these things. She's got an in-house wheelchair. Now, we don't have a lot of room in here, but the in-house wheelchair has small wheels, small batteries, small motors. It's like for a nursing home or an in-house chair. It's not really intended for, distance or outside terrain. Like none of the wheelchairs like gravel. I have yet to find one that works in gravel very well. but they'll go on the grass and they'll go on the sidewalk, no problem. But her chair is fine if she wants to go to Dollar General. It's close by. Close by, it's fine. We got CVS close by. She can do that. But for distance, she's got the Go-Go. That's a scooter. It's a mobility scooter. It's not a wheelchair. So, we keep the Go-Go in the kitchen off to the side. But, it's kind of crowded, but she can get around the kitchen herself and get around in here by her potty and her chair and the bed and everything. And it gets her around the house because Edie can only make a few steps. And she's very unstable. I'm always afraid she's going to fall and hurt herself. She has fallen. The year she had the stroke, she must have fallen about 6 times that year. And she just collapsed, but fortunately didn't break anything. She just went boom. But she didn't fall hard, and she just kind of collapsed, like you were talking about Sandy. And I related to it. Now, 7 years ago, our daughter Holly died. Up until that time, she was 43 when she died. I took care of Holly. She had the G-tube. She was bedridden. She could not walk. She could not talk. So it was strictly bed and wheelchair for Holly. I could get her in her wheelchair and position her, strap her in. And I could, get her in and out of bed. But I was younger. I was, I think, 65, up until I was 65. She aspirated. She died from aspiration. But generally, she was not able to really do anything. She was a quad, total quad. And she couldn't talk either. So it was difficult, but I had to take care of her. And I thought about you, Bill, that, you're talking about all these things with her broken hip, leg, whatever. She's going to be kind of like Holly for a while there, kind of like a quad paraplegic, but she can use her hands and arms at least. She can feed herself. I kind of got a kick out of you saying you had Stouffer's and things. We do that too. We go to DG and get Stouffer's and Mary Calendar meals. Edie likes Mary Calendar. Mary Calendar. She always corrects me, says it's Marie Calendar. But they have pot pies and microwave things. And Edie likes those a lot. And I don't like cooking all the time. I have to do the cooking too, Bill. And I can relate to your situation. You're 82 and I'm 72. But similar situations. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer here. I have to wash dishes and cook and do laundry and garbage and, clean the toilet or whatever. And, in fact, I got to mop the kitchen floor. It needs a good mopping. Get the mop out too and ride that around like a witch on a broom. But anyways, I was really empathetic of you, Bill, because I'm going through similar things. And when you're talking about Sandy, even just charging the phone with the charger and messing up the cord, I just had to get a new cord on mine because the cord got kind of tattered. And when I was in the hospital, they only had like one plug we could use. The bed used the other plug. They had two, but the bed was plugged into the other one. And something else, I think my monitor was plugged in or something. They had the TV up on the wall across from me. And I think that had a plug over there, up there. But next to the bed, they had a plug. But they had two plugs, but one was for the bed and the monitor. And then the other plug, I plugged the phone charger in, and the cord was too short, and Becca put it on that tray that they feed you with. The food tray rolls around, with a cart, and she had to put the phone on there, and I was so afraid that the phone was going to get knocked on the floor, and it didn't have a long enough cord to reach from the wall to me, so I just had to charge it and then unplug the phone when I used it, and then plugged it back in the charger and left it on the tray. So I was kind of relating to what you were saying, because they don't have enough outlets close by. And it's kind of a nuisance when you got to charge up your phone, and mine's a cell phone, so I could use it without the Wi-Fi, but I also use their Wi-Fi too. But that's kind of public. I believe the cell phone's more secure and private. And so I like if I wanted to check the bank and see what that was doing, see if the auto pay went through or something. But anyways, um, I was only in the hospital for one day each time. The first time for the stent, and then the second time I got 5 more stents, and that was kind of strange. But I'm still able to take care of Edie. I'm very thankful for that. And sometimes she doesn't like some of the things I make to eat. Her appetite's kind of crappy anyway. She has CKD and blood pressure, mostly CKD, and that's a downhill thing. You got to try to slow it down and watch what you're doing. You don't want to cause it to get worse, but it's basically doesn't get better. So last I knew, she was stage 3, and she might be worse. But as it goes down, 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 it comes to the point of dialysis. And I don't know if Edie will go through that or not. I don't know if she'll submit to it, but usually by the time it gets to that point, you only got a couple of years at the most. You're lucky if you go to. I remember people I knew in the past were on it, and it was a lot worse back then. My step-grandfather, Harvey, my grandma, her name was Eleanor, she died, and then her husband showed me he had a thing in his arm for the dialysis. He was on dialysis. And I don't know how much longer he lived. We lost touch with him. But I remember seeing the thing in his arm. He showed it to me. But he had to go in and sit there for hours, and the thing would pump his blood through it. But that was, back in the 90s, I think. Something like that. No, maybe older. No, we weren't here yet. That was probably in the 80s or 70s when Grandma died. I think my grandma died in the 70s, actually. She was 76, I think. My sister just turned 79. My brother Ralphie will turn 78 in August. Noah's going to be 25 in a few weeks. And my little granddaughter Holly, she'll be 12, I think, in a few weeks, about a month. And like I say, we just became great grandparents, but I got 8 grandchildren. Noah almost had a kid with this girl. I forgot her name. Maggie or Molly or something. Anyways, whatever her name was, she got pregnant from Noah, but she had a miscarriage, and then they broke up. But Noah thought he was going to be a daddy, and if she had that kid a few years ago, we would have been GGs back then. I would guess maybe 3 years ago. Maybe more, because Juliana was here maybe 2 or 3 years. He was going with Juliana for a number of years. She still comes around once in a while to visit, but they kind of broke up. She's gone. I'm glad to be rid of her. I won't go into anything on that, but that was Noah's girlfriend. She wasn't that terrible. She just was kind of lazy, and like a lot of kids these days. But anyways, what I didn't like about her was the gossiping and putting us down and putting Noah down. I think that's why he broke up with her. He got fed up with her criticizing and putting us down, as if her shit didn't stink. Anyway, she was a freeloader, and I was glad to get rid of her. But she was here for a number of years. And Noah was going with the other girl for a while. I don't know. I can't remember her name. Molly? I don't know. I can't remember. I remember it started with M. Maggie, Molly, whatever. Okay. So we're hanging in there, Bill. That's what you got to do. You got to hang in there as best you can. I was thinking they might put Sandy in a nursing home. If you can't take care of her and she can't take care of herself, you go into a nursing home where they take care of you. So I told my mom when she hated the nursing home. My mom was 80 years old. Well, I think she was 78 or 79. I think she was 78 when they put her in, and they said she had dementia. And she just hated it. She got so nasty and mad. She said, my sister put me in this place. Said Gloria put her in the nursing home, and she hated Gloria for putting her in the nursing home. And she just would, I heard my mom cuss up a storm sometimes. And I tell her, Mom, you can't take care of yourself anymore. And you need somebody to take care of you. And you don't want to live with any of your kids. And quite frankly, I don't think they wanted her. I couldn't take care of her, so I was taking care of Holly. It's been 20 years ago my mom died. So, anyways, she hated it, and I thought she would like it because she liked to play cards and she'd socialize at the senior center. But what she didn't like was losing her independence. For her, it was about independence. She wanted to be able to come and go on the buses, go places. She couldn't drive anymore. She lost the ability to drive a car. She kind of, uh, you know, got around on the buses and walked places, but she fell down a couple times outside too. Uh, One time she fell on the ice and snow, and we just said, Mom, you got to be taken care of. You can't be on your own anymore. And she lived on the second floor. She had to go up and down stairs. We were afraid she'd fall on the stairs. So, sometimes you just have to deal with the nursing home. Now, down the street from us is a nursing home where my best friend Gene. Gene was a ham radio guy. He got me to get a ham radio. But Gene was quadriplegic. He had an accident when he was 15 years old, thrown from a pony, and it broke his neck. And he was a quad from the neck down. But he lived to be 75 from 15, all those years, 60 years in a nursing home. And, he was bitter at first. He was angry. He told me he was mad. He's a teenager. And he couldn't do anything. Then in time, he learned how to read with this reading device. And he could read, and he liked reading, and he could watch TV and things like that. But he was pretty much bedridden and wheelchair bound, like Holly, my daughter. And I knew Gene for many years, usually mainly through our church. We used to go to church, and Gene was, there in the back of the church, and I was in the back with Holly, and we'd sit back there together and we'd chit chat every week. But I was Gene's fix-it guy with his wheelchair. I'd go over there and he'd say, fix this and fix that. And we'd talk and have fun. And sometimes we'd go out to lunch. We had a place in town called Rax. Gene would get in his chair and he'd crank up that thing, and he'd go pretty fast. We had to keep up pretty fast walk to keep up with him, almost run. He was going about 4 or 5 miles an hour easy. And his chair, I found out later, because I got the same one now, the Invacare, his chair is capable of about 10 miles an hour. But they had it toned down for the nursing home. They can turn it down. But he could go about 5 or 6 miles an hour. We go down to Rax. They had a buffet there. He loved the chili. And we had to feed him. He'd ride his chair downtown. And it was a pretty good ride to the nursing home, to the restaurant. And either I or Edie, one of us would have to spoon feed him his chili, and he liked other things on the buffet too. They had things like macaroni and cheese and stuff like that, and he sure enjoyed that. Back then we even went to Lorenzo's Pizza with him, and sometimes we'd find a picnic table and just have lunch out downtown. But Gene, he became a ham in 1962, WA8KVU, and I became a ham in 91. Right now I'm not active or operating. I don't have my station set up, but the way this is set up, I don't have room for it. But I didn't really care anyways. I used to talk to Gene on the radio because when we lived in Lakewood and he lived out here in Oberlin, it was long distance to call on the phone. So we'd yak on the radio. I could either do simplex or use a repeater. Either way. Uh, but it's been a long time. Jean died also 20 years ago. My mom died in 2005. Edie's mom died 2006, and Jean died in November of 2006 at 75. So he did pretty good considering. But one thing I wanted to say about Sandy, you've got to be concerned about. If she's bedridden, oh man, my eye is watering for some reason. But if she's bedridden, you got to be concerned about bed sores because that's really what did Gene in. Uh, he was in bed a lot the last year. He couldn't handle. He lost a lot of strength. He had a hard time talking on the phone. Quads do have trouble breathing sometimes. He was not on a ventilator, but he was very weak the last year of his life. But he got bed sores from being in bed a lot. They didn't get him out of bed. He was too weak. And since he was bedridden, he got bed sores. And he told me with Holly to make sure she didn't get bed sores and, move her around and sit her up as much on her chair as you could. And she had a special pad on her chair. And he says she could also get bed pneumonia. You got to watch you don't get bed pneumonia from being in bed too much, laying around. And, I kind of have to watch Edie because she likes to be in bed and sleep a lot. So you got to watch you don't get bed pneumonia. Now, I have one of these Tempur-Pedic beds, which is very nice. Very unlikely to get bed sores, but I used air mattresses with Holly and us. We could get these big air mattresses at Walmart cheap, and they usually lasted a good 6 months. And you had to keep putting air in them every so often and firm them up. But those cheap air mattresses work really well. And after a while, the vinyl gets stretched out, and then they start leaking, and you got to get a new one. They get slow leaks, but vinyl stretches, and it can only stretch so much. Well, Holly's air mattress has worked out very well for her. She never had bed sores, and getting her in and out of bed in her wheelchair and moving her around and repositioning her and things like that. She had bed pneumonia a couple times. She got pneumonia, and she even had sepsis the one time. We had to watch that. The doctor said try to set her up and not have her lay down all the time. Well, what did her in was she vomited and aspirated. And that's what got her. So you got to watch, Bill. She shouldn't be in bed all the time. She should come and sit up in her chair if you can get her there. But somebody's got to do the transfers. I could transfer Holly. Edie couldn't. My brother Dale would come over and he could transfer Holly too. The two of us could do it. Giving Holly a bath was usually a sponge bath. We did have a bathtub, but that was very difficult to get her in and out of the tub. And we mostly did sponge bathing. So, when you have to take care of Sandy at home, it's if you don't have somebody coming in, you can't do it. She's going to go to a nursing home. That's all there is to it. And then you'll be basically visiting her, but you won't have the responsibility and the risks related to those responsibilities at home, like her falling. That was one of the risks of home care, and she fell. I have the same risk with Edie. Edie falling, and she struggles to get to her wheelchair from her chair to transfers. Some days she does okay, other days not so well. And you got to be concerned about things like that: falling, bed sores, pneumonia, things like that. And Edie also struggles with her appetite, and I think that's partly because of the CKD, kidney disease. So I'm just kind of empathizing with you, Bill, and sharing my experience after taking care of Holly for many, many years. And then now I take care of Edie, and I'm just glad I'm not in a nursing home where somebody has to take care of me. I'd probably love it, Instead of me taking care of somebody, it'll be my turn to be taken care of. And I'd have pretty nurses, and I'd probably flirt with them. I flirted with the nurses at the hospital. Not in a bad way. I mean, I just like nurses, and I like nurses a lot. I have a lot of respect for them. It's a dirty job. It's a hard job. And most of all, they got to have a heart of gold to do it. They deal with a lot of difficult things, and people don't know what nurses go through, but I do because of Holly being in the hospital many times, and Edie too, and myself now. The first time I stayed in a hospital since I was 3 years old. When I was 3 years old, I got burnt bad. I pulled a roaster down on me, and I had serious burns. And Dale, my brother, was old enough to remember, and he said I looked like a mummy, but I don't remember that. But since then, the first time I stayed in the hospital was the heart attack, and that was the day after our anniversary, and Edie's birthday, May the 2nd or May the 3rd or something like that. And then they put in a stent, and then it was only one day, but I was kind of scared. I thought they were talking about bypass surgery, and I was really scared. I thought, oh boy, who's going to take care of Edie? Who's going to take care of me if I got to recover from open heart surgery? I won't be able to lift her or anything. And I was laying in the hospital thinking, who's going to take care of Edie if I can't take care of her? Well, at least with the stent, I was still able to take care of her. The doctor told me my one artery was 90% blocked, and the other one was 80% blocked, and they put in 6 stents. And I'm still able to take care of Edie because of that. But if they did open heart on me and did a bypass, the recovery is longer. I wouldn't be able to lift. And, I have to help her. Like you said, Bill, you kind of had to nudge her sometimes. And yeah, I had to kind of nudge her too to get her in her chair. Sometimes I have to give her a little, bump here and there to get her in there before she collapses, And, there's just things people don't know when you have to take care of a crippled person or a sick person, and they're weak and frail. It's very risky. But so far, so good. I told Edie I'm going to try to keep you out of the nursing home, but if something happens to me, I don't know what to do, because I might end up in a nursing home. And yeah, we'll lose the house, but at least it's paid for and we can enjoy it while we can. And that's what I told Edie. Enjoy every day as best you can, because that might be your last. And, enjoy your home, enjoy each other, and just be glad for what little you got, because that's about what it comes down to. You might not have much, but you got something, and something means a lot when you don't have much. And, we've been poor in the past too. We've been on welfare and food stamps in the past. And, we struggled at times, but you just make the best of it. That's all you can do. You live on the edge, but you make the best of it. And, Bill, you might end up in a nursing home, and you'll have pretty girls taking care of you. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but sometimes that can be, intimate. Especially when you wear those things that leave your rear end open. I had one of those on in the hospital. I went to the bathroom, at least the back was open instead of the front. Or you have to wear diapers or Depends or whatever. I imagine your wife has to wear those. Edie wears pull-ups. She likes those. And, sometimes you don't make it to the potty in time. That's another part of it. You get the dribbles, or you get where you got to go caca, and you can't get there soon enough. And you wear these Depends, and you have to deal with that, especially with the dribbles. So there's all kinds of things that go with disability, and especially when you're older, you don't have the stamina to do it anymore. And fortunately, Noah helps out. Speaking of that, I had my John Deere, but the transmission blew out in it. I put a new motor in it too, and we used it a few times, and the transmission crapped out. Noah tried to rebuild it, but he couldn't get it back together. He couldn't figure it out. So he got a Yardman Bug, or a Yardman Beetle. It's like the Volkswagen of Ryder Morris garden tractors. It's a little thing. It's got a 10 horsepower Briggs, and I think it's a 27 inch, or is it a 37 inch? I don't know. It's small. It's one of those small ones. The engine's underneath the seat. And I just put a belt on it for the blade. And I'd be able to cut the grass with that, but I don't see well. I don't see very well at all. So, who knows? I don't see as good as I used to. Eyes are worse too. Like you, Bill. And like I say, I have a lot of empathy for you. And you touch my heart. I'm praying for you guys. And, you need help. You need God's help too. But Noah uses the push mower. Our yard isn't that big, but it got overgrown with weeds back there. And I got Noah a weed whacker. I can't do that stuff anymore. I was back there trying to fix my Rascal and my other wheelchair, and I'm still waiting for parts from eBay on the other wheelchair. Hopefully I'll get that to work. I had to replace the motor in it, on both of them really. I have an Invacare and a Quantum, and the Quantum needed a motor. It was scraping real loud, like the bearings were shot. And the Invacare, the motor, electrically something went wrong with it. So I got the motors for the Invacare, but I got to get out there and put them in. I got two motors because it was about the same price for one motor or two. I thought I'll just get a matched pair. And the Quantum, I got the motor in it, but electronically I keep getting error codes, and I'm not sure why. So I ordered a brain for it, the control brain. That was about, I think it was $25. The motor for the Quantum was about $100. And I got the motors for the Invacare. Those are, I think, $185. So I ran up my charge cards to try to repair those wheelchairs. And if the Quantum don't fix with the new brain, I'm just going to get rid of it. The heck with it. The Rascal's a little temperamental, but at least it works. But I hope to get the Invacare working. That's a nice chair. They're both joystick wheelchairs. And I like the joystick type better. The Quantum is the best one. It's a nice, big, heavy-duty chair. But I don't know if I'll get rid of the error codes or not. The Invacare has error codes too, but it turned out to be the motor. Electronically, the motor has a high resistance. And I don't know why. Something in the motor went kaput, with very high resistance on one side, normal on the other. So I don't know, but I was trying to work on that Yardman lawnmower, and that was a struggle for me. Just getting up and down and stuff, it's just struggle just getting up and down. Okay, I'm going to shut up here. I'll try to upload this. And this one basically for you. I want to say a shout out to everybody else, and hi everybody. And I was going to make this going out in the scooter and hook the phone up to it and make one on the go, and I still may do that, but this one is primarily for old 64 Goat. Shout out to everybody else, hello. But this is for you, Bill. You made that one, and yeah, I can relate, that's for sure. But hang in there, buddy. Just hang in there.